Now we can slow down because it's the time for the parasympathetic nervous system. So let's describe this system. Remember, the actions in here are quite the opposite on the sympathetic nervous system. What are or where is the location of all the structures that we need to identify for the parasympathetic nervous system? Where are these preganglionic neurons? Well, the preganglionic neurons in this system are located either on the brain, okay, specifically on the nucleus. Remember, we don't have ganglia on the central nervous system. We have nucleus, cluster of cell bodies of neurons. So these preganglionic neurons are located either on the nucleus of cranial nerves, the third, which is oculomotor, the seventh, which is facial, the ninth, which is glossopharyngeal, and the 10th, which is vagus. So these are, if you remember your cranial nerves, are innervating structures in your head, neck, but the vagus also innervates things in the only one of the cranial nerves that innervates structures in the thoracic and abdominal cavity. So it has pretty much the same target organs as the sympathetic nervous system, except the skin. The skin is not innervated by the parasympathetic nervous system. Erector pili muscle, which is the muscle in your skin that creates or produces the goosebumps, is not innervated by the parasympathetic nervous system. What else? Blood vessels. Okay, the blood vessels are tubes, right? And they have a ribbon of smooth muscle tissue. All of these smooth muscle tissue are innervated by the sympathetic nervous system, causing dilation. Remember, it relaxes the smooth muscle tissue in order to deliver more blood to the organs. Now, the parasympathetic, some of the blood vessels, not all of them, are innervated by the parasympathetic, and they will vasoconstrict, or they will cause vasoconstriction of the blood vessels. Now, what else? Well, those are the organs, or the target organs innervated by the parasympathetic division of the autonomic nervous system. So where are the preganglionic neurons located? Well, we mentioned one of the locations right here in your brain. The other location is still in the central nervous system, but in the spinal cord, in the sacral segments from S2 to S4. So preganglionic neurons are in two locations. In, how do we put the brainstem? Maybe, yeah, in the brainstem or in the brain. Okay, and whoop, in the spinal segments lateral. Remember, this is in the lateral gray horn in the spinal segments from S2 to S4. Now, I was going to tell you something. Okay, since we have these two locations in the cranium, in the brain and in the sacral segments of the spinal cord, another name for the parasympathetic nervous system, which is cool because it reminds you of the location of the preganglionic neurons, is the cranial sacral division. And the sympathetic nervous system, preganglionic neurons, remember, they're located in the lateral gray horn from T1 to L2. That one is called thoracolumbar. One thing that I forgot to mention in the previous video. So thoracolumbar, sympathetic, craniosacral, parasympathetic, that name helps you to remember the location of the preganglionic neurons. Now, where are the ganglionic neurons in here? Where are they? Can you see the ganglia? In here, in here, in here, in here. These ganglia are very close to the target organs in this case. Some of these ganglia are actually embedded within the wall of the organs or the target organs. Okay, so the ganglia or the ganglionic neurons are located either really close to or within the target organ. So how do we call it? How we put this? In or close to the, this is my sign for target, the target organs. Okay, those are the ganglionic neurons. Now, how do you think the preganglionic fibers are going to be in the parasympathetic nervous system? If the preganglionic neurons are located here in the central nervous system, brain, stem, and sacral segments, and they have to travel from here to reach the ganglia that is located very close to or in the target organ, of course, you got it, my friends. The preganglionic fibers in here, I think the code was red, right? The preganglionic fibers, unlike the sympathetic ones, the parasympathetics are long. They go all the way there to reach the target organ. Now look, can you see that in light purple? That's your ganglionic neuron, okay? And look at the axons of these ganglionic neurons. Can you see the fibers? Of course, we're already there. It's like I'm gonna give you, well, nah, that bad example. It's like I'm going to deliver the the stimulation, the action potential to the organ that is right there. Like, can you hand me the pencil? Yeah. Okay, it's right there. So these fibers are, what do you think they are? Super short, very short. Okay, compare and contrast with sympathetic set, almost the same, except that parasympathetic does not innervate the skin. The erector, no sweat glands, no erector no erector pili muscle, which is the muscle that produces goosebumps in your skin. So it doesn't innervate your skin. So with the blood vessels, but the rest the rest of the organs gets innervated by the parasympathetic nervous system. But remember, the effect on these organs are going to be quite the opposite from the ones that we described in the sympathetic nervous system. Sorry. In here again, let's describe this as we did with the sympathetic nervous system. So, in the parasympathetic nervous system, we have preganglionic neurons located in the brainstem and in the lateral gray horn of the spinal segments S2 to S4. So this is in the central nervous system, and this division also called craniosacral division, or sacral division. The ganglionic neurons, they are located can be located like in here, close to, or within, like in this example, the target organ. Okay, those are the ganglionic neurons. The preganglionic fibers are really long in order to reach the target organ, and the postganglionic fibers, since we're already there, they are very short. Both synapses, the one between the axons of the preganglionic neurons and the ganglionic neuron, this synapse releases acetylcholine, and the one between the ganglionic neuron and the effector releases acetylcholine as well. So as you can see, it's not big deal. Oh, when we put that in blue, I remember now. It's not big deal. All the synapses in the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system releases acetylcholine except for the postganglionic fibers of the sympathetic nervous system that releases epinephrine and norepinephrine, or adrenaline and noradrenaline. Okay, ready to see the actions? Let's see the effects of this innervation. Okay, we're gonna do the opposite. Sympathetic nervous system dilated your pupils, like when you're seeing, the guy you like, and you're like, oh, you can tell. You can tell by just looking into the pupil. Can you see the pupil? By looking into the pupil, if it's dilates, if it gets bigger, sympathetic nervous system is in action. That person in front of you is kind of nervous because he's seeing you. Sympathetic nervous system, so you might have some feelings. I'm not telling you those feelings are good, it might be bad, but there's feelings in there. So parasympathetic nervous system will constrict the pupil. So that's pupil constriction. And why we use that to focus, like when we're reading, okay, a book. In here, all the digestive system actions or functions are going to be stimulated. So starting with the production of saliva, production of all the digestive juices to stimulate digestion, the movement of the digestive tract to move along the food and create poo-poo. Same thing with the urinary bladder. It will contract the urinary bladder, so you will feel the urge to pee. It will, at the same time, slow down. There's no need. This is rest and digest response. So there's no need to rush. The heart rate isn't the lowest, isn't baseline. Respiratory rates as well. Cool. Are you cool? So this rest and digest response mediated by the parasympathetic nervous system is this guy. You're after dinner, you're watching TV, the only skeletal muscle moving is the one controlling the remote control. Or maybe you're playing Candy Crush and you're focused on the screen of your phone. Okay, so pupils are constricted. Again, heart rate, respiratory rate are decreased. But peristalsis, the movement peristalsis, which is the movement of the digestive system, is increased, and urinary system actions are increased as well. So this is just rest and digest actions of the parasympathetic nervous system. In the next video, we're going to compare these two, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. See you later, alligators.